Hey everybody, it's Amy and I'm back for another episode of Born Again to Live. It is a Blues Day Tuesday. We got Eric here. We have just reunited the dream team, right?
That's right. Just telling Amy she had to let her voice be the first known because that's what I promised.
Yep, I'm here, everyone. I missed you. I love you. I'm excited to, be back here recording some new episodes. Eric, this is awesome.
Again, I want to thank those that helped fill in while Amy was gone. I mean, Steve and DJ and Kipton. It's nice to be able to have those people to call on to just say, hey, I need your help. And they don't hesitate.
Oh, sure. And I love that it was an all bro podcast. So now we got to pepper in a little bit of, femininity. I can never say that word, but
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. We got the pink microphone today. So yeah, we're back evenly balanced, right?
That's right. Yeah.
The fraternity party.
Yang.
Yeah. The frat party's over, Eric.
No, it is nice to have Amy's point of view and Amy's thinking and Amy's ability to carry a conversation. Sometimes I felt like, man, I list well with DJ. I love him to death. Like I just let him carry the conversation because I was like, I ain't nothing I can add to this conversation. At least Amy knows she can add something to my conversation.
Or maybe my conversations is so like lacking in wisdom and anything important that you always feel the need to interject. Maybe that's what it is.
I'm not sure. It works. We have a good thing going. And actually, I want to talk about it real quick. Over the weekend, I got a report that I was talking to somebody at Big Blue. I showed up for a few minutes at the end of Big Blue. And they were talking about a volunteer who helps with Big Blue that I didn't even know listened to our podcast.
Really?
And they're like, I'm not sure they ever go to church, but they said that your podcast really helps them.
Huh.
And I was just like taken back by it. Like it really hit me. And I'm like, wow, I wonder how many other people out there are actually like church hurt, but our podcast helps them along or helps them out or something like that. So if that's you and you're listening, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't need to hear from you, but I'm telling you, it is a humbling experience to think that in any way, shape, or form, God is using us to reach somebody else.
Yeah, with all the stuff that you and I do, Eric, like in a different, more physical sense, I'm kind of with you. I never would have thought that I would ever be doing a podcast. Like I'm way more of a behind the scenes person, more logistics and organization. And so, yeah, it is really kind of cool to think that anything we have to say matters to other people and that, but we do start every podcast asking God to just, like that his voice, that his message be heard, and he honors that, So I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to be back. I'm grateful that it's a recording Monday. We'll have a lunch break, maybe some gummy bears, like get back to the usual stuff. And I gotta say, Eric, like now that we're kind of right in the throes of it with summer just right around the corner. Woo! It is just, things are ratcheting up, are they not?
Yeah.
Wow, we got a lot going on with Big Blue, with just camp, with all kinds of stuff. We just celebrated an apple blossom here in Winchester. Just things are full steam ahead now.
No doubt. And yeah, it's the busy season of Big Blue. We've been talking a lot about stuff, but again, I'll plug it this Friday. We are having the benefit dinner at DJ's Church, 5 to 8, Walnut Grove Church of the Brethren. Barbecue, it all benefits the mission trip to go to Wilmington, North Carolina. So
that's it. Yeah. Oh, so how was your Costco run yesterday, Eric? We haven't talked about this yet.
Don't go to Winchester Costco in Apple Blossom that weekend, I'm guessing.
Really? See, I would have thought it'd be empty, but
that's what I thought, but it was as crowded as I've ever seen a Costco.
Huh, okay.
I don't know if it was stocking up on one thing in particular, but I'm telling you, it was busy.
Okay.
But we got what we needed, got in, got out, and Kipton and I lived.
There you go. You survived it. Yeah, there are things I don't do in this life. Going to Costco is, I prefer to take my life in my own hands driving on the Beltway, but at Costco on a crazy, nah.
I've never found a good day to go to Costco. Like I'll take weeknights at like 6 o'clock and I'm thinking, there's nobody going to be there. And it's so crowded. And then I go like Sunday at 10 o'clock when they open and it's crowded. And it never fails. Like they're always crowded.
Okay, listeners, if you know the right time, we have a Costco employee listening, if you know the right the sweet spot to come to Costco, You just let us know.
Don't tell everybody. Just tell me.
Yeah, just tell us. All right. So it's a Tuesday. What are we talking about today, Eric? I'm excited.
Revival.
Last
week, it got to be part of a revival. It was really cool. So I had this plan for a little while about how God's moving in our nation in the young people. And I don't know, last week just kind of affirmed to me that we need to talk about what revival is, how it happens, and what we're seeing in this nation that most people don't see.
Yeah. Okay.
So some of the things that I was doing some research on this, and like Bible sales are up in the younger generation, and they talked about younger being 25 and younger.
Nice.
Like there were some people who said Bible sales are up as much as 300%.
Woo!
Versus 5 years ago, which 5 years ago was COVID, right?
Yeah.
So, or close to COVID or right after COVID. But anyways, like 300% more sales of Bibles to kids 25 and younger.
And that's kind of impressive knowing that like they have their apps and they have their laptops. Like they don't have to get a physical book. But I do think, Eric, you get to this point in your walk where you want that paper covered Bible. And I know I stacked a stone a long time ago for one of my counselors who, as a graduation gift from college, after all that learnedness, he wanted a study Bible. So I was like, absolutely, like I will get that to you tomorrow. But no, that's an impressive statistic. Yeah.
And the Charlie Kirk movement that he was doing, where he was going to college campuses and just talking.
Yeah.
And they started to see in that time frame that sales would go up a little on those campuses, and that there would be more of a hunger. And when he was killed, I forget the exact stat, but it was overwhelming across the board of the number of colleges that applied for the what's his foundation?
Oh, something. Shoot, Eric.
Anyways, his foundation, there was so many applications that came in in the next like 3 weeks after his death that they could not handle the amount of requests to open chapters in these colleges. Basically, every college was asking for one.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Is it Standpoint USA?
Maybe. I'm looking up now, Eric.
Okay. Well, I'll go through a couple of these. And since this, I just started talking about different colleges and the movement we're seeing. Turning Point USA.
Yeah,
there you go. But there you can open a chapter in your college, and they had so many requests that literally they couldn't handle them.
Yeah.
They had to shut the website down at one point in time from request.
Yeah.
So they could process what was happening and get these bundles and startups out to the colleges. So what they did with taking Charlie out, I guess, first, actually, it sped the process up for him. So which is an awesome.
So so he got like a lifetime of work done in a very short time. Basically, is what happened.
Yeah, he couldn't visit all those campuses in a year, and like in no time, he had every campus wanting to have his.
That's very true.
Legacy on his campus.
What the devil means for harm, God works for good. Yep. It's amazing.
So April of 2026 at Florida State, 4,500 gave their life to God and were baptized in one night.
Wow. That's amazing.
And then the one that actually got me started thinking about this was March of 2026. WVU had 1,000 give their life to God and only 5,000 in attendance.
Oh, wow. One in every 5 people.
One in every 5 people came forward, gave their life to Christ, and were baptized. Central Florida in February of 2026 had 1,600 in attendance. 500 gave their life to Christ.
Nice.
Ohio State in 2026 had 2,000 give their life to Christ and were baptized.
Wow.
And the reason I put those on there, they are all in the top 5 in the United States in party schools.
Okay.
Like the top party schools had more kids come to Christ in the past 6 months than anywhere else in the country. So the move of God is real.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if he can penetrate the party schools at these numbers, what can he do everywhere?
So true. Oh my gosh. And like, so what were these just spontaneous things? Were they, did they have speakers at all these events?
Most of them were actually Unite US movement.
Okay.
Tanya Pruitt is the person who's doing this Unite US.
Okay.
And they will basically get speakers. I know Nick Walker, who was the guy who helped change my life. He was at Marshall and WVU back-to-back nights and baptized hundreds.
Wow.
He was one of the speakers that they just had there, and it's open to anybody who wants to come. They just set it up, and basically it's free will. Come as you want. But yeah, this place, they're just setting them up, and speakers are coming out, and it's just changing lives.
Kind of like our upcoming worship night with Big Blue, June 13th.
June 13th.
Yep. So I'm excited to see what God's going to do with that.
Yeah, me too. I'm getting really excited. And so on a more of a local front, last week on, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, so 2 Sundays ago now, Moorfield Church of God and Josh Pickett, who I love. Josh, he's an awesome guy. He showed up to his Sunday evening service just like a normal Sunday evening, and he said everything was normal, and they finished worship, and he got up to speak. And when he got up to speak, basically, like, the Spirit just sat down in that house.
Wow.
And he said, basically, he could just feel the Spirit and hear God speaking. And he started praying for people, and it was like the mighty move of God that you imagine it was. And hours they were there ministering and praying, and he never did get to speak about his message that night. Thought he was going to be home in a couple hours. And it was just this mighty move of God where lives were changed, chains were broken. I mean, absolute just freedom given in that house. And so out of obedience, Josh called for a revival the next night.
Yeah.
And that was Monday night. Well, Chris Montgomery, myself, and there was a lot of pastors who showed up and stuff. And again, another mighty move of God in that building.
Wow.
And so then he called for a Tuesday night, and they said I didn't make it. I had life come about me, and another mighty move of God in that building. And then Wednesday night, they said there was healings done in that house. And
my God.
That's changed in that way, and like just freedom and so many things. And they went all the way through Wednesday, and now they've set up to have like the first Wednesday of every month is going to be like a revival service in that church.
Wow.
Just think that, like, how many lives should change if they would have been in that house. And I know Sunday evening was their normal Sunday service, so I take that one out of the equation. Like, I sat down in the house and said, here's my Spirit, enjoy it.
Yeah.
But that was your normal crowd. On Monday, 80 people showed up.
Yeah.
There were people who were calling off work that night to be in that house to enjoy what the Spirit was doing.
Wow.
That's revival. Like, and we don't do that. We can't call that out, and we can't make that happen. That's a Spirit-driven, full-on Spirit has to be there, or you're not getting revival like this.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome, Eric. I'm sorry I missed that.
It was pretty good, and that I got pretty good refreshment on Fire-Filled Monday. So, and it was cool because I took Kipton with me, and it was one of those. I got home. I was rushing around doing a couple things. I got home and I said, "Hey, buddy, I know you probably don't want to, but we're going to church tonight."
Yeah.
And he kind of looked at me. He's like, "All right." But on the way home, he goes, "Dad, thanks." He said, "That was really cool."
Yeah.
And so if you're getting one of these moves happening, take your kids.
Yeah.
I mean, they might not like it, but it could change their life. Like, I know Kipton was prayed over.
Yeah.
I don't even remember his prayer, like what people prayed over me, but I know he was prayed over in that building, and that's an awesome experience.
Well, yeah, and if you've never seen, God's Spirit move or never felt it, like, you can be, again, just sitting in a church for your whole life and never feel and experience that kind of power. It's, it is that it strengthens your faith for sure, because you realize, like, okay, God isn't this absent person that I just prayed to and have no idea if he ever, like, you feel it, you understand that God can do anything, and it just emboldens your prayer life, it emboldens your faith, like, to just witness that kind of thing. And it isn't, smoke and mirrors and pageantry like people will say it is, because, Eric, you and I have all on the other side of those kind of nights just again, we've experienced real change, real salvation, and yeah, those are amazing.
I mean, on Monday night, I wasn't there on Sunday, but they said basically Sunday the pastor stepped off the stage and like bodies hit the floor. Like,
oh
the
wow,
spirit just settled so hard that the people couldn't handle how much spirit was there, and they literally just were hitting the floor without anybody touching them, without anybody around them, just going.
wow,
And Monday, the pastor delivered a nice little message, and it was really good. Josh did an awesome job. It was really good connecting and everything. And he stepped off the stage, and the first person he touched, like, they were on the ground, and we're like,
yeah,
okay, here comes that mighty move again.
yeah,
And everybody was just in that anticipation, and just, it was so, like, you could just wanted it so bad. And it wasn't like everybody was falling down or anything.
yeah,
Just, but you get prayed for, and bam, you could see the spirit move on that person. I mean, I know for me personally, I just could not stop shaking.
yeah,
Like, everything in me was just so joy-filled. I was literally like vibrating.
yeah,
And Kipton's like, Dad, I didn't know if you were okay. And I'm like, I was great. Like,
yeah,
this is awesome.
wow,
So, and Josh called it. He said, God's telling me that we're good where you're at. He's just giving you a fresh fire tonight, Eric. And I remember that. And like, you need that from time to time.
oh
You
my
need
gosh,
that refresh.
yes,
You need that fresh fire to come through and sweep and purify and cleanse everything out of you that since the last time. Like, that's,
yeah,
I mean, last time I had a real good refresh was Jay's back in last summer. Like, since then, I needed it. So,
yeah. Well, and I think especially when we're in a place where God is bringing you to, and it can feel like you're in the wilderness, just stagnant, and we often need that. We need that reminder that God's like, you're right where I have wanted you to be. Like, I've been working so long to get you here. And in our minds, we're like, well, nothing's changing, nothing's moving forward. I'm not seeing revival. I'm not seeing, kids come to Christ. I'm not seeing whatever it is that we think we need to be seeing. And, it's never our timing. It's never our agenda. It's God's. But yeah, I love it when he just confirms in you, like, you're right where you need to be. Just, hold steady. Here's a new fire. That's awesome.
yeah. And I'll encourage everybody. I mean, I love the fact that we stepped into that church on Monday, and one of the first things that Josh said is, this isn't about what denomination you are. It's not about what religion you practice. It's about, if you want to embrace the Spirit, if you want to chase the Spirit, be in this house, because it's here. And that was one of the first things he said. And I mean, he prayed over Chris and his congregation. He prayed over me. He prayed over other pastors. He prayed over these people, and he asked God to move in their lives so that their congregation would get the same spirit. He wasn't saying, like, bring down the Pentecostal spirit on this church.
Yeah.
It was all the same spirit. And that's not something and we can pray for revival, but until you're seeking that spirit like that, you're not going to find it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I think far too often churches are not inviting God's Holy Spirit into, they show up with, and again, I love my order and my lists and things, like, but no, they show up to church with, like, here's the worship order. This is how it's going to go. And there is no room for God's mighty movement and his spirit. And so when you're not asking for that, when you're not inviting, that into your service, your worship, to your, your church, like, God's going to just stand at that door. He's going to keep knocking, but he's not going to barge through. And I think we just forget that sometimes, Eric. I think that's sometimes the problem.
Yeah.
We know he is faithful to honor that. It's in his will to do that, but we just forget to ask.
Yeah. We have a bunch of scripture. How about we pick this up tomorrow and talk a little more about revival tomorrow?
All right, I love it. Let's do it.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.